Hey there friend, come gather near. Paula's Crafty Corner's here. Diamond dots and yarn so bright. Crafts and walks in Irish light. By the loud where breezes sing, latch hooks dance and new crafts spring. Every bead and loop's a smile. Stay and craft with me a while. Welcome to Paula's Crafty Corner, where the lake winds laugh and walk.
Hi everyone, it's Paula, and if you're new to my channel, you're very welcome, and if you're returning, as always, welcome back. Now today I thought I would do a bit of a whipping chat this morning, my first of the year. So as it's Valentine's Day, I thought I would work on one of these little coasters I got from the range. I'll just give you an all look at them. Now these do come with the cork backing to put on the back of them, so I thought I would do this one for Wayne and this one for myself because we're not big into pink, and then I'll maybe gift the rest of these, but that's them. Now if you want to see all of these finished, if you head over to Mike's channel, Diamond Painting with Mike, he has finished all of these, and I have to say they are very pretty, every single one of them. And I love the fact that it does come with the backing on it, and you get the little stand to put it in. So right, I'll put that one back. So we'll get started on this one. I'll just pull the cover off. Now I'm just using just a pen that I have up here. All my other pens are downstairs. So this one is, it's 6739. It's like an off sort of whitish. It's not the 5200. So as I say, happy Valentine's Day till everyone. Oh, look what I'm doing. I haven't even put any wax. On. Do I even have wax up here? There's one in there all day in the tree kit. Yes, as I was saying, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. My hubby and I don't really celebrate Valentine's. I mean, we don't need one day out of a year to tell one another that, you know, we love one another, because we do that all the time anyhow. And we're just, I mean, if you go out for a meal, it costs you a fortune because they always put the prices up for Valentine's Day. Now Ian is very good to me. He would come home with different things for me throughout the year, you know, like as a wee surprise, or if there's something I need, he would maybe surprise me with it. So he's very good, and I'd be lost without him. But he has to, now I don't normally record at the weekends on a Saturday, but he had to work this morning, so I thought I would just take the opportunity and do excuse me, a bit of a whipping chat. I normally would go to my dad's on a Saturday morning, but he has been in and out of hospital, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Wayne and I this evening, we'll just get a takeout as we do every Saturday night. We sort of alternate it. 1 week to the other. 1 week we might get a Chinese, and the next week would be a chippy, and then the following week would maybe be a chicken kebab or a Burger King. Just depends what we feel like at the time. So we'll see later. Now Rocco, I had to put Rocco out of the room there because he was just running around looking for things till due. As usual in this room, there's just too much for him to chew. If you didn't see my last video there, if you go check it out, put together the diamond painting feeding bowl, like wee station thing that I'd got for Rocco from Temu. I have to say it turned out really well, and I did put a wee video of it in the end of Rocco eating from it, but as I say, he's just more concerned about the food. He wasn't worrying about how pretty or how well it looked. But it's the video just before this one. He has to work tomorrow as well. He's to get up. They have a big job on at the minute. He works in a, let me just get this here so I'm not getting stuck to it. He works in a quarry, and he's a big, drives one of the big machines, the big shovel. So he would load lorries and do a bit of, maintenance along the roads in the quarries and things like that. So he always tends to have to be in early to load the lorries to go out. Now it wasn't too bad this morning. He got up at 5:30 and he was in work. He left the house at 6:30, but in the morning he's going to have to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be in work for 5:30, because it takes him about half an hour to get to his work every morning. And he'll not get a break now, because he's going to be working right through until next Saturday before he gets a day off. So he's going to be knackered. So he can't even bring me down to see my daddy today or tomorrow, because he wouldn't be home in time. So I'll have to see if my brother's going to bring me or what he's doing. Although my brother likes to take a break on a Sunday, because he's the one been doing all the running up and down in the car. Rocco and we went out for a walk down to the lakes this morning. Now, we have had rain every day over here since, well, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And I mean every day, and some days it's been very, very heavy. There's been a lot of flooding round about, and even the lakes, the water was raining that much, the water overflowed, and you couldn't get onto the bridge that connects the front and the back lakes. But as I say, yesterday was the first dry day we've had, but then this morning we had quite a bad frost, and there's parts of the path along the lake was quite icy, but my wheels aren't too bad in the frost and the ice. I wish I had taken a little video to show you, because although it was absolutely freezing, it was a beautiful morning. The sun was shining down on the lake, and it was really beautiful. And then listening to all the sounds of the birds and the geese and the ducks, I enjoyed it this morning. But I didn't want to, I couldn't, with the big gloves I was wearing, big thermal gloves, I couldn't, use my phone. And I didn't want to take them off, or my hand would have been froze. But it was a lovely morning, and there was quite a few people out too. I called into there's a cafe down there. Now, I don't know why you've ever seen some of the shorts I've put up of the big massive scones that I get from there. So I thought I would call in today, or this morning there, and get one for my lunch, but I forgot that it didn't open till 9 o'clock. So Rocco and I was there from about 9:15, so I just brought him in. He sits on the footplate of my wheels. I thought he might have got a wee bit, he'd have been looking out or whatever, but he just sat on my wheels, just looking around him at all the people coming in. So he was happy enough, and then I got my scone, and then away we went round the lakes and home again. So I I just gave him a bath there because he was still a wee bit, he was so wee bit mucky. There is still some puddles and that around the lake and mud that he likes to run through. So he's got his bath and he's got dried and the heat's on, so he's nice and warm. But as I say, I had to put him out there. Because if you notice, well, I'm sure you have, every single time I go to record, Rocco was in here doing something, or else he's run off with something that I have to go and take out of his mouth. Tell you, he's a wee devil at times. He's going through his naughty stage at the minute. So he is. He has to be chewing everything and anything. I have a big, it's like a big fleecy cardigan that I would wear sort of in the mornings when I get up, like a dressing gown type thing, but it's lovely and warm, very fleecy. And I had got into the bath there the all night and I'd forgot to close the bedroom door. And I had left the cardigan sitting on the bed, and by the time I got out and went in there, Rocco had chewed a hole. He was chewing the tag on it, but he'd ended up making a big hole in the, along the collar of it, tell you. And then he ruined when he was a lot smaller. He had chewed a pair of my slipper boots too. I had to throw them out. So it's always my stuff. It's never his daddy's stuff. And he's a habit of, because it's been raining and I don't have a tumble dryer, I put the clothes out in the rack to dry them. But he's a habit of lifting socks, my knickers, Wayne's boxers off. He's even been lifting my daddy's washing off the rack that I've been doing for him, and he tell you he doesn't know what to be at. Now I'm sorry if you hear that drilling there from next door, but they're getting their heating sorted out. There was one, it wasn't this week, it was last week. I had one out one night to visit my dad in the evening in the hospital with my brother, and I come home and there was a whole big commotion. Wayne was sitting and he said he happened to look out, and he thought it actually was fog at first because it was that thick, but then he started to smell the burning. Their oil burner next door went on fire, and he went out, and well, my actual neighbour that has lived in that house, Sean and Anne, they have both passed away. Now Sean only passed away there, was it September, October time, but his wife's brother, his wife and his nephew moved in to help look after Sean because they had no children. Sean ended up with dementia, so they're still living in the house at the minute. But the nephew, Peter, he was out on the corner at the other side of their house. They were out with buckets of water trying to put the fire out, and then we have a water hose, so Wayne got it and jumped up on because there's a big fence between us, he jumped up on the bins and put the hose over for them to try and get it out. But then the fire brigade arrived and they put the fire out and just demolished the whole thing. So I see the fan there this morning, so they must be getting it fixed. They'd need it this way because it is getting cold this past few days. But I apologise there if you hear that drilling and hammering there in the background. My dad first went into hospital on the 2nd of December. He was getting really bad, like headaches every morning and dizziness, but he was also having like really bad pain on his side. Now my dad did get he had a bowel obstruction about 3 years ago, and he had to get, well, it was a big operation, and they told him if he had left it like a couple of more days, thought he wouldn't be here today. But ever since that, he's getting pain on the side. But anyhow, he went into the hospital on the 2nd of December, and they discovered that he had fallen. You see, Daddy tends, like me, he tends to fall because he's nerve damage in his feet and his legs. They discovered that he had a small bleed on his brain. My daddy does get, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's and early onset dementia. And there was a good few times there he was phoning us up at all hours of the morning. He was getting very confused, especially if he didn't have any sleep, because he wasn't sleeping because of the pain. He would go so long and then with no sleep, and then he started getting very confused. But as I say, went in to the hospital, they discovered that he had a small bleed on the brain, but they also discovered that he'd had 2 mini strokes for that. They said, which happened, they couldn't pinpoint when, but they said that it happened very recently, and they said that could have been added, to the confusion and all as well. So they moved him to the stroke ward, but they couldn't find. They done loads of scans and on his CT scan, MRI, and they couldn't work out. They said that the headaches and the dizziness wasn't coming from, the bleed on the brain, but then because they said they couldn't do anything more for him medically, and because he wasn't fit to go home, he got moved on the 19th of December to a care facility for rehab care. So he was there for 2 weeks, and he was there over Christmas. Now, Christmas, I was just glad to see the back of it this year. Our Christmas Day, Wayne and I went down to see my daddy on Christmas morning, and my brother and my niece was going down that evening. But when we went down to see him, he was upset because normally we would all go to my mum's grave on Christmas morning together, and because he had been so unwell, he hasn't been to my mum's grave in a good while, and that upset him. And then he'd got himself upset because he was thinking that he was spoiling all our Christmas. So seeing him upset, that upset me then. And then, well, I haven't been feeling so good either health wise. So I came home. Hubby dropped me home on Christmas morning because I didn't want to leave Rocco, for too long. So he went round to collect his mummy and to bring her round till his sisters to spend her Christmas with the grandchildren. So he spent a couple of hours there. But as I say, I came home and I was just, seeing Daddy upset me, and I wasn't feeling well. So I got Rocco his lunch and I just went and lay down. I was tired and I was in pain and I was upset, so I just went and lay down. So that was my Christmas morning. And then Wayne came home, he put the dinner on, and we had our dinner, and that was it, really. That was as far as I was concerned, that was Christmas Day over. I was glad to see the back of it, to be honest. And then Dad, he got home on New Year's Day. That was the Thursday evening, and the Friday, that was my birthday, the 2nd. I went down and to the house, spent I spent all morning with him, and then Wayne collected me about 1:30, and took me over to the next town over. I went to the range. I wanted to go to the store to see what they had. So I actually done a birthday haul video on what I got from the range. It's in my playlist if you want to go and check it out from the range. And then I had a Burger King, and that was all I did for my birthday. But Dad, he still wasn't great. He was still getting these headaches and the dizziness in the morning time. So then, now Dad does have carers in, but they only sort of come in and make his meals 4 times a day. So we were still going in and checking on him, and my daddy has birds, so my brother he's sort of looking after them all at the minute. But that was alright. He wasn't getting any better, and then on my mum's anniversary was on the 16th of January. She's been gone 20 years, goodness. My mum was only 59 when she passed of cancer. It was actually secondary cancer. Which had lay dormant for 10 years in between time. The first time she had breast cancer, and this time it came back in her lungs and then went into her bones and her lungs. But that mummy's anniversary, because he couldn't get to the grave, that was upsetting Daddy and all too. But that evening, somebody had called in, because he had been in hospital and in the care place all over Christmas. Somebody had called in and brought him a present. But Dad got up, didn't use the walker because he was carrying the parcel in his hand. Now it's not that far from his living room down to the bedroom, but didn't he go and he fell in the spare bedroom, and he lay there for about, he always carries the phone in his pocket, if he needs to phone any of us. But the way he fell, the phone got knocked out of his pocket, and he lay there for about 40 minutes before he could sort of reach over to grab the phone. So he managed to phone his brother, my uncle, told him that he'd fallen and could he come up. But meanwhile, now this was about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, this was all happening. But meanwhile, my brother, he always calls into my dad's after his work. He had come in and he'd found Daddy on the floor, and it was dark at that time of the night, and Daddy had no lights on, so he's in the dark. So him and my uncle happened to arrive too. So we now on hindsight, the two of them should have, I didn't know till afterwards, but the two of them, they should have phoned for the ambulance straight away, but they didn't, because Daddy was looking up. But they got him up anyway into the chair, and that was alright. My brother had to stay with him that night because he couldn't manage. He couldn't put weight on that hip and the leg. So the doctor came out the next morning. She examined him, and she said she didn't think it was broke because there was no swelling and there wasn't any bruising or anything. She said just to keep off it and take painkillers. So that was alright. My brother, he had to stay again. He stayed again that night because the way I am, I'm no use to my daddy. I can't bear his weight to get him out of bed to go to the bathroom and that. But my brother put in an awful night with him that Friday night. So I came down on the Saturday morning and I took one look at the leg, and I says that hip's broken. I knew by the shape of it, the shape of his leg. His foot was sort of in the ways, and he couldn't straighten it out, and I knew rightly it was broken. So I got on the phone to the emergency doctors, and she phoned for a non-emergency. They class it as a non-emergency ambulance. So that was at 11:30 on. She put it through on Saturday morning, and the ambulance didn't come until 5:15 on the Sunday morning. So we waited all day and near all night for that ambulance to come. Meanwhile, my brother and I's trying to get, because I couldn't, he was burning most of my daddy's weight because I couldn't, and we were really struggling, but anyhow, the ambulance came, and I have to say now, the two guys were really, really nice. They were joking with my daddy and putting him at ease, but they took one look at the leg and said, "That's broken." And my brother had explained to them what had happened and what the doctor had said, and he couldn't get over it. The two of them couldn't get over it, that the doctor examined him, and firstly didn't realise, they said that she should have sent him over for an x-ray at least, even if she didn't think it was broken. She should have sent him over to the hospital on the Friday. But they got him sorted and into the ambulance. But take that off. My dad got to the hospital. It was about 7:30 Sunday morning, and he had to sit in that ambulance from 7:30 in the morning until 5:30 that evening before he was even brought out of the ambulance in the scene. And because he hadn't got no sleep, and with his Parkinson's and that, he'd got a bit confused because he'd phoned me, and he was getting all upset, saying they're not going to x-ray me and they're just going to send me home. And it was tough. He was getting upset, and then that was upsetting us more. But he got seen, and yes, the hip was broken, and it was quite a bad break. Now the hip that was broken, my dad actually got that replaced about 8 or 9 years ago. So the new joint that they put in was actually split right in two. Now Daddy did say that when he fell, he heard a crack. He said he actually heard two cracks. But when they brought him down, he was seen on the Sunday, but he got the operation on the Wednesday. And they said that it was a lot more complicated because the way they had to take that new hip joint out and get another new one in. So, but he the next few days after it, he was sort of sleeping quite a lot, but at the same time, when he came round, there was a couple of days that he'd got confused, and he'd phoned me thinking that he was in the trauma ward, and he was in this big bay, but there was other patients around him, and he thought all these people were in his house, and he wanted me to get my uncle to come up to get them all out of his house. But eventually, he was on a morphine drip, and between that and all his own medications he was on, and the anaesthetic and everything, it sort of caused that bit of confusion, they said. So he came round a good bit, and they were getting him, he still wasn't really that mobile because of what they had to do. They didn't want him walking on it too soon. But they moved him then from Craigavon Hospital, which it's the accident an emergency, to a non-emergency hospital, which is just, it was quite handy because it's only down the road from me here. They moved him there for rehabilitation. So he was in there for a week and a half. Now he was doing you know, he wasn't confused. He was doing well that way. Now the hip was still really, really sore, but he still wasn't mobile on it. And because they need, you know, they need the beds in these places, they moved him again last Friday. He got moved to another care facility for rehab care for 2 weeks again. Now, it wasn't the same one as the one he was in at Christmas. He was looking back into that one because he quite liked that one, but unfortunately they had no beds, so he had to move to another one, which is, well, it's about half an hour away from us by car. So he's in there at the minute. Now he's still not too mobile. He can walk from his room to where the bathroom is, which is just straight across from him, and back into his room again, but they're taking him in the wheelchair down to the dining room. Now, because his hip and all still so sore, the physio didn't want him walking too much on it yet. They said because of what they had to do, you know, it would take a good while for it to sort of knit in and, you know, for the pain and that to ease. Now he had 37 staples he had in the wound. There's all the white finished in that. So 37 staples, goodness. You know, but I wonder he was in pain. Where's that bag? There's there. But as I say, he's there at the minute, and he is getting well looked after, and he's back eating again, and you know, there's no confusion or anything. He's still getting the bad headaches each morning and the dizziness, but they discovered there's a name for it. It's to do with the pressure. When Daddy gets up from lying to sitting, the pressure sort of drops, and they had put him on medication for it, but he's still getting the headaches bad every morning. Now it does eventually wear off as the day goes on, but as I say, it's every morning. But we have I'm going to try, instead of this colour, the red, I'm going to see if red crystals will look better in this. I've just put a few out here. I'm going to see if these can need more wax in that pen. What did I do with the wax? But the physios are still going up and working with him, but as I say, he's still not mobile. My brother and I and Dad is having a meeting with the social worker. They're, you know, she's coming out to the home next Thursday, or this Thursday morning coming, because he's only supposed to be in there for 2 weeks to see what is going to happen. Now my dad, he just wants to be home, and we want him home, but we know at the minute he's not fit to come home. I mean, there's no way he could come home and manage on his own, because he does live on his own, even with the carers in. And my brother and I, we can't stay, you know, every night with him. I mean, I'm not fit, you know, I can't get him up and down, and my brother, I mean, he has a full-time job and he has his family, but my brother did tell the social worker that he didn't want Daddy coming home until he was able to be up walking, you know, with his wee walkie on his own, and be able to walk up and down, because Daddy has a long, he's a bungalow, but he's a long hall down to the bathroom. So, and even my dad knows himself, he's not fit to come home, and that's sort of, well, he's trying to put a brave face on him, but I know he's upset. And then he's, you know, he gets himself annoyed because, you know, we're having to come up and down to see him, and especially my brother. My brother, because Daddy is birds, my brother has to go in, because there's young ones out. My brother has to go in every morning to feed them and, you know, clean them out, and then he has to go do his work all day, and then he has to come back to Daddy's to see to them again, and then he's going down to Daddy's in the evening, you know, in the car, so he's not getting much time. And I mean, he never gets his dinner in the evenings till he's back home again near 9 o'clock every evening now. And he collects me in the evenings to bring me down. There's a few evenings. Now, he doesn't go on a Tuesday evening because he's dancing practice. My brother, he does a lot of those Strictly Come Dancing competitions. He's been doing them for over, I'd say, 10 years now. But each one is for a different charity, and they raise quite a lot of money for them. The last one he did, I think, was back in November, and I think it was for domestic violence charity, and they raised over £20,000. And it was the same with the charity before, they raised over £20,000. So this one is for, I think it's for suicide awareness this time. There's a charity called PIPS here in our local surrounding area that deals with bereavements, you know, through suicide and all this. So I think that's what it's for this time. But he has practice on a Tuesday night, and Saturday, sort of around lunchtime, because Wayne's working this afternoon, he can't bring me down. And well, I thought I was going down with my brother, but because the dancing practice is over in the next town over from here, which is closer toward Daddy, where the care facility is, he doesn't want to have to drive back here to town to collect me to drive back down there again. So he's going to nip over on his own, he said. And then I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow because Wayne's working, and well, my brother was looking to take a break tomorrow, but because Wayne's at work, I don't know what's going to happen, if he's going to go in the afternoon. And if he is, hopefully he'll bring me over. If not, I'll have to wait till Monday evening. Now, when I'm not down, I do phone Daddy. I phone him in the mornings, and then I would phone him again at lunchtime, and then I'd phone him sort of round about 8 o'clock or whatever, you know, just to say good night to him when I'm not down. So we'll see what is going to happen on Thursday. Now, I don't know if they give him another 2 weeks care. I don't know if you get that free or if we'll have to pay for that. I'm not sure. Now, if Daddy does end up, I mean, there will come a time eventually that he'll not be able to manage on his own. So he probably will end up in one of the care facilities, unfortunately. But they take, you know, if you own your own house or if you have savings, they take all that off you. So he wants to sign the house over to me because, well, Daddy has made his will, and him and my brother decided that they were going to leave Dad's bungalow to me because they said it would be better for me in the long run. Now, I have a 2-story house here, but I have a stair lift, so I can get up and down the stairs. But the two of them thought that the bungalow would be far better for me. So he doesn't want to, as I say, he doesn't want to lose the house because my daddy was born in that house he's living in at the minute. Him and all his brothers and sisters. There was 6 of them. And they were brought up in that wee house And I mean, when Daddy got married, Mum and Dad got married, he moved out of the house. It was 3 years. They were living in a different house, and then my granny and granda decided, my granda had land, and they decided they would build up, a different, bigger bungalow on my granda's land. So my mum and dad bought the house off my granny and granda for, I think it was about £3,000. They bought it for. Now I think I was around 2 or 3 at the time when we moved back into that house. And at the time, the bathroom was in Mum and Dad's room at that time, and there was actually an outside toilet. There was, but we eventually, my mum's sister, when my granny passed away, my mum's sister had bad rheumatoid arthritis. She was in a wheelchair from she was 16 years of age. So when my granny passed away, my auntie, she had to come and live with us. So we got the house, Dad's bungalow, renovated at the time. There was an extra bedroom put on, there was a bathroom put on. So Dad's bungalow, there's 4 bedrooms in it. Now it does need a new kitchen and a new bathroom now. I mean, that was done, I think I was about 18 when my auntie Mo came to live with us, so we got it done back then. But the house does need, renovated and that. But as I say, my daddy wants to keep it in the family. So I just have to see what's happening. And then because I'm worrying about him, and that hasn't helped my health any. Worry and stress is not good for my illness, so it's been flaring, and I've been in quite a lot of, I'm in pain constantly at the minute, every day. It's just various degrees of pain each day. There's some days that all I can do is to get myself out of bed, down to the sofa. I am having trouble with my shoulder and my arm, down into my wrist. Now it's this arm, and it is now as I'm doing this, because it's been been waffling on for 40 minutes. I am in quite a lot of pain at the minute up on my shoulder, but I'm determined to finish this. My whole right side I've been having a lot of bother with at the minute, so I'm gonna have to go. And I just don't like my doctors. There's a whole big thing over my brother-in-law and different things, but I'm gonna have to look at changing doctors. I'm gonna have to get it seen to, because it's getting really bad, and because it's my dominant side. I'm right-handed. I don't know why I've done something to my shoulder or what, but I need to go and get, even the medication needs reviewed and all too. But it's hard when you're living with chronic pain and chronic fatigue every day. It is hard, and then with all the added stress and worry on top, it is hard to get going at times. So I'm way behind, because I'm running up and down to the hospitals and things. It's been taking its toll as well, so I'm way behind in watching everybody's videos and things. So I apologise for that, but I will get caught up eventually. Right, so that I finished that. I think that looks well with the red crystals. Oh goodness, what do you think? So I'm going to get that sealed, but I'm going to put the backing on this here. If I just take there is a cover on the back of these. If I can get it off. you know, I got it off in the unboxing to show you as there was a film on it, but goodness, I can't get it off now. It doesn't want to come off. No, I can't get it off. I wonder will it's stuck just over the top of it. Goodness me. No, I'm not going to fiddle with it. I'll just stick it over the top of it. You just take the sticky film off the top of it. When you see me, I probably put this on wrong or something. So, that's not right. I'll tell you. Done it wrong already. There we go. That's it. That's the backing. Now I will seal that. So as I say, I'll make sure that's stuck down. I'm going to seal that one, and I will do this one for Wayne. So we'll have his and hers coasters for Valentine's. So guys, that's all for today. I've been waffling on there for 45 minutes. I need to go out and see what he's doing out here in the hall because of the door closed on him. Bless him. But guys, whatever, if you're doing anything for Valentine's, have a lovely day and happy Valentine's to you all. So if you could give me a like on your way out, it would be very much appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. So guys, you all take care, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Subscribe, like and share. Come back again to Paula's Crafty Corners home, where my home